Okay, so I think I figured something out here. I was looking through the schematics on this, the one that I had, and I was wondering why things around this oscillator circuit didn't match. Well, I was also wondering why, these resistors, there's two 11K, schematic says it's a 21K. When I bought the radio, or when I got it, it had a capacitor right here to ground. Well, guess what? I thought I would do a little more digging, and I found out that this radio, I knew it was made by Stuart Warner. So I thought, well, let me take a look and see what sets they may have made and sold with the same chassis. So here's the model R1116, same radio, same schematic, same tube lineup. Guess what we've got here? Here's that 11K. Here is a 4 microfarad capacitor. There is the other 11K. This 51K right here, it's an M. M back then was equivalent to K now, so that's why it's confusing. Anyway, that 51K is measuring like 75, so I think I'm going to change that. I don't know how I missed that one in the first place. Anyway, I'm going to change that, and I'm going to add this capacitor back in. Can't believe I missed this. Sometimes, I don't know. So I'm hoping that's what was keeping the oscillator from functioning, because that was definitely the issue. I mean, the amplifier was working, the power supply was working. It was an oscillator issue. The IFs were working. I was able to run a signal through it, and it they peaked up fine. So yeah, let's give this a try. So I went ahead and I added this capacitor in. It's a 4.7 microfarad. And then I replaced this resistor. It was supposed to be a 51K. I put a 56K. It should be fine. Nice thing about tube equipment is it's not that picky. Probably would have worked with the 75K that it was reading, but I'd rather have it a little closer to what it was originally. So anyway, we're going to give it a try. Amplifier's working.
$20 million guaranteed. Rams head coach Sean McVay told SiriusXM he hopes the team will re-sign Odell Beckham Jr. Beckham's a free agent. He's recovering from knee surgery after getting hurt in the Super Bowl. He's not expected to be ready to play until November. Tonight's schedule, the Knicks will try and snap a 6-game losing streak.
Okay, dial is way out, getting 770 around 890. So we're going to have to spend some time and actually align this properly. So what was wrong with it? Well, first of all, I had the wrong schematic. Really hard to work from the wrong schematic. Realized I left out a part. Put that capacitor in. There was a resistor on the oscillator tube that was bad. Got it back the way it was supposed to be, to realize that the oscillator tube, which tested weak, it was too weak to function. It just got nothing. So I have borrowed one off of my Zenith over there, which I'm still working on. I almost done with that one, actually. This is strictly a borrow basis. I'm going to have to order one. These oscillator tubes, this is a 6A8. These seem to go bad fairly often. I've replaced a lot of them. The three that go, it's always the 6A8 or 6A7 or whatever it is, the rectifier and the output tube. It's never any of the other ones. Anyway, then I'm gonna have to do a much better alignment on this. It's clearly, like I said, it's way out. I just did it by ear just so I could play it, I am missing all the knobs. I don't know what I'm gonna to do there. I'm gonna have to find some knobs somewhere. I don't know. That's the least of my worries. I just want to get this working the way it's supposed to. I mean, it sounds good. Even with the speaker, which I think is a replacement, although I was looking at it and pictures I found online of the same radio, the speaker looks the same. So I'm wondering if what they might have done, you can see there's a screw right in the center here. I wonder if they replaced the field coil in the speaker and not the speaker itself. It's possible. The 5Z4 was prone to shorting, and that's probably why this transformer went out. I think you can replace it with a 5V4, as in Victor, or Victory, or whatever. I think you can do that. I might do that. I believe it's a slightly taller tube. I should have enough space. The cabinet's pretty big, so I should be all right there. So I might do that. I changed this transformer once. I'm not changing it again. And it's questionable whether it was even worth bothering changing it, but I wanted a challenge. I thought this would be a cool set. I love the dial. I mean, really, the dial makes this whole radio. I mean, isn't that cool? The colors are really nice. The inside of the dial, usually the paint's all flaked off, is perfect. It's the only reason I bothered to change the transformer. If the dial were falling apart, I wouldn't have even bothered. So I did a check on this, and dB plus is way too high. There's a couple things I can do to fix that. The first thing is drop the incoming line voltage. Now, why would I want to do that? Well, first of all, it's not a bad idea, because these old transformers, a lot of them were rated at 110 or 115 volts input, and this one is actually 117. It has a label on the side. Our line voltage here is anywhere from 119 to 121. Not as high as some places, but it's definitely high. So dropping the line voltage is certainly not going to hurt anything, and it's going to lower the B+. So if I can drop it by about 10 volts, I should lower the B+ probably by 20 or 30 volts. That's pretty good. The other thing I can do is I can add a resistor between the rectifier and this first filter cap here. I may have to do that. What that does is it lowers the B+ coming out of the rectifier before it hits this filter cap. So I think I'm going to have to do that anyway. But to drop the incoming line voltage, we want to use something like this. Now, this is a aluminum fin resistor, nice and shiny and gold, and it's going to go right here. Now, unfortunately, there's no holes. I really hate to drill holes, but honestly, I've already put holes in this chassis. This thing is like not in the best shape, and I'm making it work just because it's a fun project, so I really don't care. So I'm gonna put some holes in it, and we'll put a hole in and we'll put it in place, and then I'll show you how to wire it up, and then we'll check the B+. I know this is sketchy looking. So what I did was I took the wire from the transformer, put it to one side of the resistor. Then on the other side of the resistor, I have it going up to the grounding cap. This is just a line filter. And then going to the switch, and then of course going out here and to the power wire right here. Now, this nut doesn't quite fit. I don't have anything else. It hits against this aluminum fin. It's not going anywhere. I mean, this is in there. So that's fine. It just looks stupid. So now what I'll do is I'll connect it up. We'll put our meter on B+, power it up slowly on the variac. And what we're gonna aim to do is see what the B+ is like. Previously, when I did this, and I didn't do it on camera because I didn't even think about it, the B+ at 100 volts was about 370 volts. Now, the schematic says with a 5Z4, which provides a higher B+, roughly 20 volts higher, the B+ at 115 volts going in is supposed to be about 320. So with a 5Y4, it should be in the 300 to 310 range, with 115 volts going in. This is at 100 volts. It was showing me 370 whatever volts. So that's too much. I mean, I stopped even going up because it was just not safe. I don't want to destroy this radio. So we're going to try this. I think it's going to reduce the B+ probably around 20 volts. Still not quite enough, so I'll probably have to add a resistor in between, so it would be down here, in between here and here.
And number 3, a new Wall Street Journal poll finds 88% of Democrats, 77% of Republicans support President Biden's move.
So what we've got here is we've got, with that resistor in place, we've brought B+, that is before, or I'm sorry, after warm-up, down to about 315 volts at 120 volts in. Now that's not too bad. I probably could just go with it. So I got a couple options. I can change the size of that resistor. I can go to a 40 ohm or something else. Now the thing with that, if I do that, what's going to happen is it's going to reduce the voltages for the rest of the radio, including to the tube filaments. Not a big deal. At this point it's fine, but do I really want to reduce it down to, let's say instead of it's probably at 6.2 volts now. I haven't measured it. I could, but do I want to reduce it down to, let's say 5 point something, 5.3, 5 point whatever? It's not going to work the way it's supposed to at such low voltage. So that's the problem if I keep reducing the voltage to the whole radio. So I think what I should probably do here is reduce the voltage to the first filter cap, and the way I can accomplish that is I can put probably a 10 watt, 5 is probably not quite enough. If I put a 10 watt resistor in place between the output of the rectifier and the excuse me, and the input of the first filter cap, that should reduce the voltage enough so that I'm not dealing with an excess voltage. Like I said, I'm looking for about 300 volts, maybe a little less. Like I said, it's a 5Y3, so 5Y3 at power on, it will certainly surge, but these filter caps are 500 volt rated, so that's not a problem. And the reducing the input to the filter cap will reduce the voltage at power on as well, so that's good. So I think that's what I'm going to try next. Kind of interesting, this radio, when it powers off, it still has 5 volts on that filter cap, the first one. Okay, so this is not sketchy at all. What I did was I put this resistor, it's a 250 ohm, I don't know if it's going to be enough. If it's not, I have 430 I can use. I replaced the 10K because it was actually reading 15K. I replaced that, so the new B+ tie point is there. It's kind of sketchy. I don't know. I really don't like the way this looks, but there's just no space. I've done everything I can. I mean, this capacitor should not be this close to this resistor. It's just, I don't know. I mean, it's going to get hot. This is all going to be really hot. But I have no choice. I mean, at least this capacitor is far away. Anyway, so we'll power it up. Make sure that it's going to work. Okay.
It's perfection.
297 volts.
And a little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A mac and cheese.
Hard to tell. I had to mark this. These variacs are not perfect, but that's 120 volts.
Makes me cheese every time.
Order dinner delivered on the Chick-fil-A app today. Delivered.
I just brought it up a little higher.
That's a win. Lockout ends. Let's go. And thanks to Lou for dropping off some bakery goods earlier today. Appreciate him doing that. Thank you for that.
Gonna turn it up again. Just
Hey, by the way, the Odyssey Lottery recap presented by Jack
no difference.
Powerball's now 99 million. Mega Millions is now
Really no
26
difference.
million.
Okay,
Play
cool.
Powerball and Mega Millions on your phone using.
Full line voltage, 301 volts. Perfect. So I just want to review. This radio's been a real pain. Huge, huge pain. New transformer. I mean, not new, but old. Much more high spec than what was originally in here. This should barely even get warm. I don't think it's even going to get moderately warm. Replaced the rectifier. I put a 5Y3 in it. Replaced the oscillator tube. 6A8 was bad. Did a lot of work. Recapped the whole radio. Put a line dropping resistor in place. Added a resistor going from B plus off the rectifier to the first filter cap. Replaced several out of spec resistors and, like I said, all the capacitors. B plus voltage looks perfect. It's 300 volts. It's about exactly what I would expect with a 5Y3 in it. With a 5Z4, it will be a little bit higher. What else do I need to do? Well, I need to figure out what I'm going to do with the knobs because I don't have any knobs. So that's definitely something I need to do. I am going to order another 5Y3 because that was my last one. It was a new old stock. I may actually order a used one and throw that in there because why use a brand new tube for this anyway. So, it's definitely coming along. I'm kind of impressed that it's gotten this far. I really did not have high hopes, did not have high expectations. We are going to do an alignment. So here's the instructions. So did the IF alignment already. So I'm going to move on to the rest of it. So I made sure that the dial pointer lined up originally. Now I'm going to start at the top here, so 1500 kilocycles on 1500. I'm going to change my test oscillator to exactly 1500. So here's my test oscillator. Probably have to go up to band C. Let's tune that to 15. Okay. Then we'll use this one here. That's about right. 1500. Well, it is 1500. That's pretty nice. I'm going to turn that down just so I can hear it. So now, our next step is, 7 too. Okay. 7 is there. Okay. Without the piece of... Let's just do that. Sounds about right. Turn that down again. Okay. So now we want to go to 600 and tune the receiver to the signal. It's at 600. Increase the signal here. It doesn't know what to do.
How much is the fine for a tractor trailer on the Mariposa?
Okay, that's about right. That's 600. Continue detuning, blah, 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 blah. Perfect. Actually, you should probably go up a little more. Nice, okay. So then what I'm going to do, even though it doesn't say, I'm going to go back to 1500 and just confirm that my signal is still at 15. I'm going to turn the volume up low just so I can hear it better. It is so cold in here that I can see the heat radiating from the rectifier. That's kind of cool. All right, let's go back to 1500. Oh, we're a little off on the dial here. Just gonna confirm that. That's really good, actually. Volume down. Okay, so actually our alignment's pretty good. 456. Well, I did that before. I guess I could do it again. It's not gonna hurt anything. All right, let's see. B450. 455. Let's take this off here. Up here. Let me just do this a little bit again. Just to be sure. Come on. Yeah, it could be a little better, okay. Come on, fit. Nice. Very nice, okay. Okay, alignment is okay. It's a little quiet on the low end of the band, and I'm not sure quite why. Upper end of the band.
Now, some people took a look at the news schedule.
WBZ, Boston's News Radio.
Americans struggling with student
Of the Lutheran immigration.
Whether we're going to keep seeing days.
I mean, no struggle. A lot of distance stations here.
Because if one is assuming that Jesus' church handling multiple crises than former President Trump.
Yeah, not a bad radio. It seems to work okay. Volume is not as loud as I thought, but I think it's because the B plus is a little low. But honestly, that's fine. Yeah. I mean, it is kind of interesting, though, when I touch the good cap 6A8, it gets a lot louder. So, I mean, that's supposed to happen, but it should be decently loud without that. So there may be an adjustment on the antenna that I'm not sure what's going on. Anyway, at least it's playing. So the next thing I have to do is turn it down. Next thing I have to do is find some knobs for it, which may take me a while because I really don't know if I can get anything close.